Folks, I think there can be no debate around the fact that Persia has the best people, the best countryside, and of course the best food in the world. And today here in Victoria 3 we're going to jump into them and try to figure something out when it comes to the 19th century that historical Persia very much struggled with. We're going to do our best to make this country into something unique and, most importantly, I think, into something independent. See, when we take a look at the sublime state of Persia here in 1836, we see a reeling beast. A country, of course, that is incredibly rich in culture and history and yet is really struggling with moving forward. First of all, we just very recently lost our territory here in Azerbaijan and Armenia to Russia. The Russian Empire completely destroyed Persia and ultimately, later on in the 19th century, made Persia admit that these territories would never return again. Then, at the same time, in 1837, our very own Shah Mohammed Shah Qajar of the Qajar dynasty right here, tried his best to retake the cities of Herat, of Kiva and Bukhara. Well, retake is a bit much. He basically just wanted to re-establish control. And of course he failed. The campaign, the siege, wasn't successful, and ultimately that leaves us with a troubled country that, in the later 19th century, would become the play ball between the Russian Empire and, of course, Britain. This is something that we want to avoid. This is something where we have to work against it, and, I will do my darndest, but I will tell you right now that I did set the game rules up so that the AI behavior towards the player is harsh. I want an experience where the people and the powers that be want to destroy us. I have to be honest with you, I actually never played Victoria 3's Persia so far. I looked at it and I said to myself, this is a really interesting country because just look at this. We have so much potential right here in the north. We got sugar, we got tea, we got silk. Then of course we got opium, for example in Khorasan and Luristan. They have a whole bunch of arable land. And all of that stuff is a really, really good baseline because this means we can export. Even if I don't have any industries that can use this, as long as I'm connected to, for example, the Great Qing or any of the European countries, all of a sudden I can make a lot of money without actually having a lot of industry. And this is a really interesting point of view, because it is basically a fairly small version of the Russian Empire. What I mean by this is that we will play this country in a bit of a different fashion than how you play these countries normally in Victoria 3. Sure, normally you would say let's build an infinite amount of construction sectors, build of course everything related to iron and tools, and then we get the industrialization going. Until we get a bit more of a liberal, more understanding sort of alignment here, I don't think we're going to be doing any of this. We are, of course, with Mirza Akazi Iravani and our Shah himself, equipped with a couple of traditionalists. People that want to keep things the way they are and benefit themselves. So, that is, of course, the upper strata, the aristocracy. And that is something that we're going to be doing. What I plan to do here is to basically supply the outside world with goods that we can create on plantations and work as little as possible with the mines here. Obviously, we have to work with them, but I do not want a working class, and I especially do not want an educated working class. We will be doing some sort of education, but we will do it in a different fashion than how you again normally do it. So, let's see how far we can go as yet again an agrarian country, but with a much, much better arable land situation than we were in Romania. So, when it comes to technology, we will start with academia, romanticism, and empiricism. The reason for this is basically this. Obviously, I need universities. Obviously, I want wealth to give education access, because only the wealthy should be allowed to think, and then, of course, support the old order. I also do like private schools. I mean, that law is really nice if you want to keep a very, very illiterate lower strata. Then romanticism will allow us to actually go for greener grass campaign. Not that important, but the arts academy and the agrarianism is exactly what I want. I want to be a cultured country, but that is fairly backwards because, again, the aristocracy is in charge and agrarianism will be perfect for this. And then when it comes to empiricism, I mean, you can see it right here yet again. We are looking at wealth, education, access, and I really want to stress this Persia will largely be getting the education access, at least as long as the Shah is in power like this, from the fact that you are rich. If you're not rich, don't even try to read, okay? Nobody wants you to read, nobody wants to see what you think about it. Now, when it comes to building things, we have identified certain areas. The areas here in the north will largely be plantations, maybe some wood-cutting things, that sort of thing. Then in the south, we will basically have nothing except maybe mines, some ports, some fisheries, and then in the center, we will have everything that is related to manufacturing, knowledge, arts, and so on and so forth. I really, really, really want to divide this country into very specific regions. So, with that being said, let's build some construction sectors here in Iraq Kazemi. The way it works is that if you stack construction sectors somewhere, they make building in this locality faster. Now, the thing is, up here, as I said, we're going to build plantations, which basically cost no construction points whatsoever. Then in Iraq Kazemi, for example, I will be building government administrations, which cost a whole lot more, as well as, of course, normal factories, which, yet again, cost a whole lot more. And then, of course, if we build construction sectors, we also need more wood, because, again, we're not going to go into mining all too quickly. quickly, although again that will happen eventually as you do. Let's just build some logging camps right here for a good start, and I think that is basically it. Actually, no, I'm incredibly wrong here. We're gonna spread out some decrease. Let me just take a look at this, right? So this right here is agricultural, this is agricultural, this will be agricultural. I think we're gonna put manufacturing right here, and then we're going to put resource industry right there. I believe, okay, but this is just a guess, that if we put this in, which gives more throughput, which means these buildings will make more money, that our private AI will actually also be more prone to invest in these areas. And obviously, as I just said, I want this to be the agricultural area, this to be the resource area. When it comes to mines, you can see this actually right here. We got lead, we got iron, we got coal in these areas. If our capitalists want to build there, then more power to them. I'm just not going to do it right away. Right, and this is, I think, already the start. Yeah, and we're looking at a situation, of course, where we need to analyze who likes us and who greatly dislikes us. Let me just check that out right here. Russia and Britain, oh yeah, they are already... Man, they're already angry. The Great Qing likes us. That is a definitely positive thing here. We need to see what we can do. I want to be a bit calm, at least for the first year. Yeah, and then I think we're going to go ahead and actually just rival Oman here. I'm not going to rival Afghanistan or Kiva, because as soon as 1837 rolls around, they will try to vassalize both of them, as of course the historical Shah Mohammed attempted it and failed. I mean, we're going to see how this goes, okay? And they are immediately building livestock ranches in Khorasan. That is not a bad choice. I mean, nothing wrong with this, right? But yeah, this is definitely going to be the major opium location once we have a bit of a connection to the Great Qing. Right now, we literally cannot reach them because this is occupying our declared interest. As soon as we get a declared interest in this, or rather a proper interest, I can just move on and remove this one and move it to China. And you know what? It would not be a landowner playthrough if I didn't tax grain. Taxing grain is beautiful. You should always do it. Don't listen to these people that are fairly unhappy, okay? Don't worry about it, it's all good. It's 1837, literally no time has passed whatsoever, but Russia is already going in. The Russian Empire has declared war against the Kiji Jus. They want to annex them and really assert authority, which means that I need to get moving. As long as Russia is busy, I might have an opportunity here to steal away Kiva. We're going to make them into a vassal. This is basically a buffer state between us and Russia, and I want it to stay there. So we're just going to do this and hope that we can actually beat Kiva, or that Kiva just capitulates. As long as none of these actually come in on the side of Kiva, we should be fine. And as I said, Russia itself is busy. So I think we can take away Kiva here. And who other than Mohammed Shah Qajar himself would be best to lead this campaign? He is actually the very last Persian, the last Iranian leader that went into a campaign. Now, we do have a bit of a situation here, because as you can see, our barracks have input goods shortages, and as I don't have a different interest until we get Kiva as a vassal, which gives us a permanent interest here, frees up the declared interest, I can't really import anything. At most, we can get it from the Turkish market, and I think that is basically what we have to do right here. Will it be enough? Honestly, I have no idea. I really just hope that they give in. I mean, you know, just come on. You can't win. Alright, they need to be taught a lesson. Let's just take a look at this. What is their war goal here? Wait a minute, did I just see that? Humiliate sublime state of Persia. Yeah, I don't think so. The first battle has already begun against General Nasir al-Din Khan, and we're destroying them. Yeah, very good. Our Shah Mohammed is not just a good military leader, he's also a firebrand and imperious, by the way, which means that he's medium-liked, you know, he's sort of balancing it out with the arrogance and his ability to speak, but he definitely has some ambitions. And there you go, that was pretty easy, it has to be said. Now, the other thing that we definitely have to do is also defeat Afghanistan. That way we are in possession of much of the opium trade that comes from this region, which is, well, exactly what we need, right? So we will take control of them if nobody else gets involved here. Let's hope that that is the case. The Ottomans, the Russians... The British are not in here, interestingly enough. That is a lot of infamy, but I will eat it, because we do have a very arrogant Shah, and if I can't succeed with this, then what kind of Shah am I, right? So, let's go in here. I think with Kiva on our side, we shall win, unless somebody goes and aids Afghanistan. Let's hope that that doesn't happen. Now, the other thing that we need to do is also build up some stuff that we care for. And the way I want to build in this particular playthrough, until maybe our power structure changes, is basically in a way that benefits largely the upper strata, because these folks here are our friends. So, they are paying a lot for porcelain, because we have a bit of a shortage. That sounds like I can build it right here. Let's build a glasswork factory, let's build 2 of them, frankly, and focus on ceramics. Yeah, let's build porcelain so that the upper strata has a better time. Come on, Afghanistan, just give up. They declared a rivalry. I don't know whether that means that they're more or less likely to give up. Don't even let it come to war, come on. Don't be... No, actually, be a coward. Please, be a coward. Wow, they are braver than I thought they would be. Well, fair enough. I'm just gonna defeat you on the battlefield then. Look at that. Our Shah is completely dominating them. Sadly, he's not even getting a modifier for successful battles, but ooh... Defensive strategist, surveyor, wow. He just picked up 2 amazing traits. That is really good. And you know what I'm actually also going to do? Since this becomes our manufacturing center right here, I'm going to promote social mobility with the goal of getting some more educated people there in general. We're going to build universities there as well, which will allow people that are illiterate to pick up qualifications, qualifying them for manufacturing jobs. So we just need to make sure that this is basically our educated central in the country. And there you go, absolutely beautiful. We have reasserted our authority in the region. Now we could go for Bukhara, but honestly I'm not gonna... I think I'm gonna leave Bukhara alone. At most I might make them into a loose ally, or maybe a tributary if they were so inclined. Let's put that aside for the moment. Where are you building this, by the way? In Khorasan. Right, they already have one, so that does make sense. I now have the potential to declare an interest in the Great Qing, which I will immediately do, but to reach them, unless we were to take Kokand, and I don't really want to trade via the Silk Route anymore, I think those days are over, we have to establish a couple of ports. So, let's build a port central here in Khuzestan, maybe one in Laristan. We need to take control of this area, of course, that currently is Omani, and then build an actual shipbuilder. We do have the wood for this, of course, in... Where there are more people? I guess technically in Khuzestan, but... You know, let's build the ships in Fars. I mean, why not, right? So we're going to build this up and make it so that we can reach China and then trade with them, because that will be our primary income source for, I think, decades to come. And beautiful, we finally have academia, and I'm immediately going to use this. Well, actually, I'm going to use this as soon as we finish up our production over there. We're going to use this to build 5 universities here, and then another, let's say, 3 in Isfahan. These will give education boosts, so qualification boosts to our population there, and without being literate, that population will then be able to work more advanced jobs, and that is a huge, huge thing we definitely need to achieve. And you know what? I'm going to build up these construction sectors here. Let's build faster. I'm really quite amazed, honestly, that nobody came in to stop us for Kiva or Afghanistan. We really timed it well with Kiva, but Afghanistan was a bit of a risk here. And let me just check this, right? Yeah, they are still very aggressive. I believe, actually, that Britain right now is worsening our relationships. Damage relations, there it is, yep. Britain does not like me. Yeah, and you know what? Let's increase social mobility in Isfahan as well. I would like to have these basically as islands of literacy in our country. You can't see it yet, but I think sooner rather than later it will become apparent. And there goes the price for porcelain. The more, of course, we make it cheaper, the more people will be able to afford it, and then the more will the price rise again. That is entirely on purpose. That is exactly how it works. Ultimately, it just means that more and more people in the upper strata are actually able to afford it. The next thing here is definitely luxury clothes. It's too expensive, or maybe actually, you know what? Once we get some ports, maybe I can actually import that stuff from the Chinese. I believe they produce it quite liberally. Let me actually check this right here. Oh no, they actually have a shortage of it, right? So I can even export this into China. Interesting. Ooh, and we have a bit of a power struggle right here. Diplomatic tour. The ruling Shia ulema, led by the charismatic Firuddin Kazembek. Let me take a look at this. He is charismatic, a political operator, and has expensive tastes. He really stands for the sort of cliché-style upper strata person that I'm currently catering to. He has initiated a great promotional tour. The decision to focus efforts domestically or internationally has been left to the last minute. However, and it's unclear if Shia ulema will do more for itself or for the country as a whole. Right, I don't need the influence, I don't think. I don't know what I would use it for, so you know what? I'm just gonna drum up some support for the Shia ulema. Much more important than anything else, I think. And by the way, speaking of unique things about Persia, can you see this? This bridge right here? This is the, I believe it is called the Kajun Bridge. Isn't that crazy? This bridge has its own model, and it's not a building. This bridge is just hanging out. Oh yeah, and here we got the war between the Khedivat of Egypt and the Ottoman Empire, and you can see the Ottomans are demanding everything that they need. If they win this war, then they will definitely reclaim Syria. If the Ottomans manage to actually close out the Tanzimat Journal, which usually they do not, but sometimes they do, and if they manage it, man, they will become a massive rival of ours, no doubt about it. Does anybody actually know the law of this, by the way? Why does Persia not have a single port? Is this one of those policies of isolation that they had historically? It's really interesting to me. Literally not a single port going anywhere. Alright, but now that we have a few of them, I'm going to start trading immediately. Opium into the Chinese market. You know how it goes. It's beautiful. It needs to be done. And maybe I can even supply them with a couple of other things. I'm just, you know what? Actually, I'm just going to do a couple of liquor right here. Oh, and Bukhara. So much liquor, huh? What's going on over there? Well, I'm going to start transporting all this stuff over there because I want trade deals. I need trade deals to really make this worthwhile. You know what? Let's just start with the luxury clothes and luxury furniture right here. We're currently negative. That is fine. We're going to build some more administrative buildings. Actually, wait a minute. I don't think I need to. Yeah, we can just shift this around, so this is going to be fine. We're looking at a situation where I just want a lot of trade volume, even if it puts us negative here, because then the Great Qing eventually will have to give us a trade agreement, and that is exactly what I want. You know what? Let's improve relationships, let's get this going. Good news, the Ottomans are losing, and even better news, look at that. We have established our very first trade route right here. You know what's interesting? We could technically, obviously, try to trade with the Europeans as well, but this is so far that this is one of the rare occasions where I would definitely say, even if you have ports and whatnot, don't even bother with long-distance trade routes until or unless the Europeans actually open the Suez Canal. Until then, just trade with China, trade with Russia, it probably will be more beneficial. And let's take a look at the battles here just for a second. Yeah, it looks like the Ottomans are actually going to lose this, which means we will find some very weak Ottomans as our nemesis, which is virtually ideal, I think. And this is just what we needed, romanticism. I have to really again stress this. Every single economic decision that I'm currently making is meant to empower and strengthen whatever is happening on our plantations, on our farms, and so on. And agrarianism will be absolutely perfect for this. We're looking at a situation where hopefully we can indeed become a bit of a cash crop state where we export all of these things largely currently into the Great Qing's market. And this is just the start. Getting agrarianism will definitely help us there, and we also need the universities to speed some things up, but take a look at this. You can already see how our social decree has actually led to a different literacy rate in different parts of the country. This will only increase. Iraq Ajami is at 16.7% literacy, 12.6% here, for example, in Khorasan, and even worse down here. This is a trend that will only become stronger and should also lead to our actual political situation being a lot more, I think, nuanced, right? Different areas in the country will have different leanings and so on, much stronger than they would have otherwise. Well, this shouldn't surprise anybody. First, try agrarianism. I don't actually know. I didn't take a look at the investment pool before this, but I think this is pretty okay. 7k, you know, fair enough. We will definitely make bigger strides, though, going forward. And as you can see, building universities here in Iraq Ajami is already going incredibly well. I think we're going to go ahead. So I like this tag, society should be ruled by philosopher kings. That might honestly be how Shah Mohammed sees himself, but I don't think that he's too eager to talk to the intelligentsia. They will just be a rising power going forward, right? I think instead, I'm going to take a look at this. Modern institutions should employ modern methods. This is basically driven by the intelligentsia. They want to achieve something new, a new Iran. And that, of course, takes, you know, some... Yep, oh wow, it immediately unlocked this. This takes some new strides, and, well, there you have it. The very first stride of empiricism. I'm actually going to move on immediately. You know what? I think we should try to get dialectics. It takes 8 years, but that is a huge benefit if we indeed get it. It's really interesting so far, by the way. We have quite a bunch of unhappy people, because we are taxing grain, but we also have a lot of happy people, and there is this really interesting bubble of petite bourgeoisie. Just take a look at this. These are largely shopkeepers, of course, driven by these newly built buildings right here, but we also have Khuzestan, and Khuzestan is a very, very beneficial trade center that will only grow stronger as we go. I think the actual sort of literacy that is required to get this trade center to run, I think we have to improve this, because this will become a strong spot for the petite bourgeoisie, which is quite interesting, right? So let's build some universities right here, also then, of course, giving us tech points, but more importantly, lifting up the qualifications of the people living there. Right now, petite bourgeoisie just up there, intelligentsia there, and, of course, now the universities. I wonder where they're coming. Ah, they're coming from the government administration there. Then we got the Shia ulema and the landowners. Yeah, it's all focused on Tabriz for the moment. I think that is mostly because that is just such a populous location. Just look at this. Jesus Christ. How often do you see this? Petite bourgeoisie, 69% of political strength in the interest group is loyalist, plus 10 opinion. Yeah, that's pretty hefty. On the other hand, the intelligentsia, how happy are you when it comes to just your membership loyalty? 21%. You know what? I could technically give you higher wages. It's not that expensive. I might have to raise taxes on the poor, but, I mean, that's why they're poor, right? Yeah. Ooh, and this is some big tech. So we just unlocked something via spread. In my personal version of the mod, I'm currently test running this. I slightly buffed the spread technology rate because I noticed that very far behind countries rarely, if ever, come even close to catching up, and I wanted to equalize it a bit. So instead of 25 base value, it's 35. And what we just got here is, let's take a look at this, right? We got stock exchange, which is great because it gives us more trade round competitiveness, and generally it's just really amazing. And now we also actually collected lathe, and we're going to use this. I think the social streamers will be very happy to know that we can indeed use the dye that we are ourselves producing to give ourselves more tech stars. And you know what? Oh, right. This does now bring in the capitalists. Man, I wish it weren't so. The petite bourgeoisie should stay exactly where it was. I don't think we're going to move on towards lathes yet, just because we are not really deep into the tools production, and I'm not interested in that. The only thing that we will need tools for, and I think I do already have this queued. No, we do need to do one thing, because I took a look at the population, and I mostly just build what is required for or by the upper strata. You can see they're already slightly better off than they were initially. However, and this is very important, they lack services, which is something you don't see all that often, unless you are in my position right now, I guess. What we need to do is, we actually need to build coal mines. Let's say in Isfahan, maybe in Laristan might be perfect. Let's build 1 or 2 coal mines right here. And then use this to, you know, well, supply all of our urban centers with coal, hopefully producing enough services to make our upper strata ever happier. Oh yeah, and what a Pyrrhic victory, by the way. I didn't even see this initially, but the Ottoman Empire merely got Aleppo and Adana. And it is really funny to see. I usually barely, if ever, work with decrees, but the way we're building this right now, the way I'm not prioritizing, you know, iron construction, which would require a lot of budgetary sort of investment, I can just actually use these instead of for consumption taxes. You know what, let's put down a road maintenance right here, so that we are back in the positive and nobody is bothered. And is this actually the stronghold of the petite bourgeoisie? Oh yeah. Interesting, in Mazandaran. Why? Oh, is it actually the furniture manufactory? Huh. Wait, who are the barracks actually supporting? You know what, I never think about this. The servicemen are supporting nobody. They can't read. That makes a lot of sense. And then we got you. Well, it's actually split. Mostly the armed forces, and they are literally not a factor yet. Yeah, and we're already in trouble here. I would really like to take my Laristan, the entirety of it, you know. But the Kingdom of France disagrees with this. They have added Oman to their customs union, and well, this is the foreseeable result. Luckily, it's not actually a treaty port, completely unrelated to that, but that means that we won't be getting this back, which is a thorn in our side. I mean, come on, this is our strait, or at least it should be. And yet, interesting. No shot. Maybe I can try to influence France to like us a bit more, and then not get involved. Listen, I just want to take control of my own territory, okay? Oh, and there's some chaos now with Oman. Okay, wait a minute. So what is actually happening here? We have a war between Britain and Oman. Egypt is also in this. Wait, why is Egypt? Are you allied or something? No, this is just a marriage of convenience, I suppose. Ooh, and there's the second war going on here already. Okay, so what we have here is a war where Britain wants to conquer Oman proper, and then the rest of Oman is meant, including Zanzibar, to be vassalized by the Egyptians if they win. And it looks like they are going to be winning. France is on the defending side here. But I have to assume that France is quite busy with this war. If I were to sneak in and just declare war against Oman, you know, for land that should be mine anyway, what could France even do? I gotta be honest with you, I don't know what will happen if indeed we are in a situation where the other wars end, but, I mean, we have a successful sort of general here, warlord, right? A very imperious man that believes that he is always in the right and will always be successful. I'll just declare this war right here. Sure, France might join on their side, but come on, what are they gonna do against the almighty Shah? I hope that the British keep raiding the actual naval supply network, because then we can win this. Then we can absolutely win this. And it's looking good, honestly. The naval supply network looks absolutely shot based on what we're seeing here. As long as we take this territory, we are good. That is all we need. I gotta be honest with you, this is actually going incredibly, incredibly well. We would have never had a shot at getting this. Just a single unit of the French would have probably stopped us, because we still have a bit of a shortage, don't tell anybody. But since the British are raiding the naval supply network of France, we're looking at a situation where they cannot supply their troops. They don't have any equipment, they don't have any morale. Let me take a look at this. Yeah, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. And we just need to hold this now. They might navally invade us. We do not have any ships, we do not have any defense. Except for the people that are here and are suffering from an extreme supply shortage. Yeah, let's just hope that this works out for us. Oh god. Oh god, no. Oh god, no. Listen, I just need this. I just need to hold on to Laristan, okay? I just need to hold it. But this... We need all the ticks that we can get here. This is an invasion. Had they invaded Laristan, I probably would have actually lost this war. But I think, yeah, it's gonna be over before too long. Get out of here, okay? Don't even bother pushing. Yeah, okay. This is a win. Wow. We did it. We did it. At a great cost, but we did it. See, there is something to the way that we're playing Persia here that is very interesting to me and that I wish happened more often in the game on a much more reliable basis. When you pass a law, let's say for example we pass religious schools right here, everybody in the country that is incorporated will benefit from the institution. Don't worry about it, we don't have institutions, who cares? This means that if you live in, for example, Tehran, you get the same boost to your educational access as you would if you lived in Sistan. But this doesn't really make any sense, right? Because Sistan has 0 urban centers. It is completely, there's no infrastructure, it is completely decentralized, and it is incredibly, incredibly rural. Yet in Tehran, with the Urban Center 3, there's no change between the institution whatsoever. This is something that I wish worked on a more, state-by-state basis, depending on how effective the institution will actually be, vibing with, for example, the general makeup of the population there, but also with the actual urban centers. We are sort of doing this, though. Take a look at this, right? I have been promoting social mobility. I have been building universities which give more access to qualifications. You can see this right here, even if you can't read. And I have been doing this in 3 states exactly. In Tehran, we've been doing it in Isfahan and in Khuzestan, making it so that these people right here will have an easier time qualifying for jobs, working jobs, building up wealth, and then becoming politically active and literate. This is a really cool effect because it gives you this sort of gameplay feeling, I think, that a lot of Victoria 3, since you can just elevate everybody to be able to read, is missing. Now, this means that we also have a couple of bottlenecks. When we take a look at our trade center, you can see that not everybody in Khuzestan qualifies to be a shopkeeper, which is directly detrimental to us. Because this trade route right here, that is the opium trade route, is meant to go to level 18, but it currently is only at level 9 because we simply do not have enough shopkeepers. I find this super interesting, because to intensify our trade with China, sure, we could go and just pass a school institution, then everybody gets to learn to read and so on. Or we go on and build basically a liberal stronghold in Avaz. Not necessarily intelligentsia, but of educated people working in the trade center, motivated both by our social mobility decree and the university, which will make this place remarkably different than the rest of the country of Iran. I'm super eager to explore this further, and this is just the start, but I just wanted to show this because I think this difference is lost in translation, as people normally play the game heavily relying on the institutions, because, I mean, that's the way it is intended to be played, right? And as you can see right here, things are indeed now working out as well with literacy as well. We have 19-70%. Obviously, this is going to rise as a couple of buildings are built here, laborers come to be, and they have a higher expectation for their literacy compared to, for example, peasants. But in general, look at Ira Kajemi, 36.9%, then 33.1% literate here and 27.1%. This will leave a mark on the way our politics work, and I'm super excited to explore that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, listen, everything was working like planned. Look at this. The literacy rate has even changed. It's much higher. We are only 3 years later, but would you look at that? 40% of literacy rate right here. Barely any changes over here. But all of a sudden, the big Otto comes knocking. What do they want? What do they want? They want Luristan, which is a really, really bad thing for us because that has a lot of our opium plantations. What do we do here? Well, obviously we fight back, right? What else would you be doing? But before we do this, I just want to highlight the following. Look at this. We got the petite bourgeoisie over here in Tabriz because this is a high population area in which our, basically everybody likes to build buildings. But since people here aren't educated, because I wasn't doing social mobility and I'm not going to be doing it, this is run by shopkeepers. So in the future, unless I should say, we actually implement some sort of education system, Tabriz will be a shopkeeper and petite bourgeoisie central. And this is actually quite fascinating. Look at this, right? We have Tabriz right here with a total population of 1.95 million, then Khuzestan with just 416,000. But look at this. They're getting 1.22 million political strength from this, and almost half of that from Khuzestan, despite Khuzestan being that small. The reason is, of course, beautiful trade center Khuzestan right here. different from normal playthroughs where you would set on, you know, basically homogenizing institutions because they are something that happens nationally. We have a very, very interesting politics map mode. If you take a look at this, Tabriz obviously important, but the rural folk actually quite present in these areas. The industrial is largely only here because this is where we indeed are doing social mobility. Take a look at this, right? We got social mobility here, social mobility right there, then over here as well. And these will be the hubs, so to speak, of our industrialists. But let's talk about the enemy in the room here, the lion in the room. The Ottoman Empire tries to take our land, and obviously we're going to do something about it. I'm just so excited about the social changes here. Let's demand war reparations, because if we just take a single tile, we can actually achieve that. And then afterwards, I mean, I guess I will literally conscript everybody. I think we have the money for this. We, you know, definitely have a pretty good upper strata. They are all doing fairly well in the upper and the middle strata. If we tax them a bit more, who cares? I mean, come on, they're not going to rebel, right? Can I hope for some sort of assistance here? Yeah, no, I can't. Okay, well, that is depressing. Obviously, Mohammed Shah Qajar will defend us. I think I might have to build another layer of actual arms industries. We have them over here. We have them in Tabriz. Yeah, let's build something here in Tabriz. Definitely need to prioritize this because we cannot run out of this. This would be a disaster. Honestly, they're not bringing too many people. I guess they're just kind of cocky, right? Because we are the underdeveloped region here. We're not really interacting with the West, which they, of course, are. But I don't think we're behind on tech at all when it comes to this. Look at this. The big... Oh, okay. This is where we are behind on tech. And right, because we're peasant levies, we can't actually get anything above infantry focus right here. We might have the numbers, but beyond that, we will have to count on the mountains. That is our only shot. I'm going to set this target here so that we, you know, can try and defend it. But this is going to be rough, I think. We might lose Luristan. You know, can I quickly get some sort of tech here? Fieldworks would be really good for army defense. Oh, shell gun, actually. So this would definitely make sure that we have enough artillery. Logistics, conscriptable battalions, that's not terrible. But 26 months is so long. You know what, I'm going to support the shell gun here. And then I think the defense is something that I care more for. Let's get fieldworks and see what we can do here. Alright, here we go. I'm honestly also kind of worried about our vassals actually being there. What are your troops? Do you have good troops, or are you going to destroy me? Oh god, no. I hope that they don't participate too much in battles, but okay, listen, if we lose it, alright? But please, I beg you, hold on to this. Oh, we are, okay, we're getting luckier. Take a look at the mountains. Yeah, mountains combat with right here is definitely playing in our favor. And isn't this honestly kind of fascinating? These numbers are so small. They seem so tiny to me after what we did in the last playthrough. Jesus Christ, I mean, what is this? This is nothing. This is barely even a conflict. Oh, and our side is going on the offensive. General Firuz al-Din Hotak. Well, yep, it's definitely not working. I can tell you that much. Attacking with the regulars will do that to you. I know exactly what this means. This means Afghanistan is getting annexed after this war. You son of a gun. Huh. Well, that's awful. Can I get a white piece real quick? Anybody? Nobody wants white piece? All right. Oh my god, they took so much land as well. Can we even get this back in time? By defending, we're gonna take back bits by bit, but man, that is a... I'm gonna lose Luristan because of Afghanistan. You gotta be kidding me. And folks, it does indeed look as if Luristan is lost. We're down at minus 34.6 and our Shah here is not amazing on the offensive. This seems like we're gonna lose Luristan. I mean, again, as I said, we know who is to blame for this. This is gonna be interesting because it means that we'll have to retake this as a claim, and that we are losing a whole bunch of our opium-producing capabilities. Now, it's not the worst loss in the world, but it certainly leaves us exposed in Tabriz and in Khuzestan. Ah, son of a gun. Yeah, this definitely is going to end in a loss, isn't it? Folks, this is absolutely disgusting. The Ottomans couldn't win in the West, and now they're coming east. I'm bothered by this, and I think so is our Shah. And we're going to be dealing with this going forward. This is going to become a big, big topic here, but first of all, I just want to highlight how we have done already. Take a look at our literacy rates. Absolutely gorgeous. Iraq Ajami and Isfahan, as well as Khuzestan, are actually doing incredibly well, and the rest are apolitical peasants, as it should be. I will leave you right here. Let's take a look at the world. Is there anything else? I don't think so. We will find vengeance, and hopefully we'll find vengeance fairly quickly. I will see you later. Alligator.